Hi everyone, it's Jerusha, and I have a topic I wanted to talk to you about today. Unfortunately, it won't be a surprise because it's probably going to be in the title, but I was going to think it was a surprise before I realized, oh, I'm going to put it in the title, so it's not. So that's a joke. The topic is online dating. Someone asked me a couple days ago, within the last few days, someone that I didn't know very well asked me, do you believe you can find your soulmate through online dating? I was like, this person wasn't very much older than me at all. Like, not much. A little, but not much. Older than me. And I'm like, of course I do. Definitely. I definitely think you can find your soulmate, in parentheses S, soulmates, through online dating. Now, when I say online dating, I just want to clarify for people who have never done it before. Online dating means that you put a profile up on some website like OkCupid, for instance. Huge amount of people on OkCupid, by the way, in the United States of America. Most states have a ton of people on OkCupid because it used to be free, and it kind of is still free. It's the most free one. But there is a little bit of an upcharge if you want to get some aspects of it, but it is the most free one. You can still pay for it. So Match.com is the next one. And then there are other ones as well. But in my mind, it's about numbers. It's about the amount of people, the sheer amount of people that are going to be on there that you can look through, because you don't necessarily have one specific person. You may think you know what you want, and you can describe that. Good for you for knowing what you're looking for, but you're open-minded, right? Because chemistry is the most important thing. Chemistry is very important. It doesn't matter how much you have in common. Might as well date yourself if you want everything in common, right? Well, some people would think that. So what I mean by online dating, you put a profile up, you can communicate via the internet, send messages back and forth. I like it when it's instant messages rather than just like long email type messages through the website. But eventually, pretty soon, you do meet them in person. When I say online dating, I just want to clarify that it's not like you are not just dating online only. You're finding people via the internet, but they are people in your area that you could see on a regular basis, and you wouldn't be dating solely through the internet. Nothing against people that want to do that. I'm just saying that's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about people who meet people via the internet, but they transfer it into a real life relationship if they want to, continue. If they find someone that they want to get to know better, that they can meet the person, have real dates in real life, IRL, in real life dates, and continue a life, not just a long distance relationship. Okay, that's what I'm talking about when I say online dating. I have to clarify that because so many people, even my age and even younger than my age, actually have never done online dating. It's still a thing that some people haven't done. There's some taboo about it. Kind of like personal ads used to be back when I was like 18. I was living with my aunt and uncle I was in high school. I wasn't yet old enough to date, according to my family, even though I was 17 or 18. But my uncle would, he would always read the newspaper and he would see the personal ads and he would go, someday maybe you'll want to like put a personal ad in and like date someone through that, because maybe that'll be kind of an interesting way that you might choose to like find someone. I think that probably a lot of people do not consider that to be a mainstream option these days. But I believe that online dating is the mainstream option to that. You find people via online dating websites or profiles and all that kind of thing, but you transfer it into an in real life relationship shortly thereafter. Okay, it's not like you have to meet everyone in person. There's lots of people you can find and be like, no, I don't think so. But I believe because I met my husband through online dating, and I did online dating for probably at least 9 months straight before I met my husband. And I believe in it. I think it was great. I think it was really good to test the waters, you know, especially if you're newly out of a relationship and you're not sure if you're ready yet to like start dating or not, but you just want to see what's out there. I mean, there's like lots of levels to what you would do as far as like seeing what's out there, or dipping your toe in the water kind of thing, even if you're not sure if you're ready to actually meet anyone yet. It's just sometimes I think it is sort of good or sort of healthy to think about, I wonder if there's someone else possibly out there for me. Not necessarily better, not necessarily like perfect, but just other people, like the opportunity to have other people. And there's a I don't know, it seems like it saves energy in some ways, in that you can ask people questions that you would take a little bit longer to ask maybe in person on a date, and read through people that you were like, if they answer it this way, I'm for sure not interested in any amount of time with them longer than just knowing the answer to these questions, you know. So I think it can be somewhat efficient if used properly. So I am definitely an advocate of online dating. For me personally, being an introvert, being an extroverted introvert in the mental health field, I have in the past met people in person. You know, before online dating, I met people either through school or through work. Being in the mental health field through work means people that are also in the mental health field, okay? So my first marriage was with someone that I met through work on the mental health field, and I realized that I don't want to be limited to meeting people through the same field of work that I am in, because nothing against the mental health field, okay, I'm in it, I love it, but I want to meet people that are different. When I first started online dating, like sometimes 7.5 years ago or something like that, I was finding that a lot of engineers, I was interested in engineers, I don't know, technology, you know, type engineers, computer engineers type guys. Unfortunately, they were younger than me, like by at least like 1 to 2 to 4 years younger than me, and that wasn't a problem. I would go on a date with them, but I don't think that we weren't on the same level in terms of our expectations of what we were ready for. I was age 34 and I was ready to start having children pretty soon with a reasonable guy that was like grown up enough to have children with. So I did go on several, actually most of the dates I went on were with guys that were younger than me. I was age 34 at the time. A lot of the guys had the thing in common that they were engineers, and maybe there are a lot of them in Portland, Oregon. Some of them from other countries, some of them not, you know, but those are the ones that for some reason I was attracted to. I don't know why. Maybe they're just sheer numbers or something. But I didn't want to date someone that was in my field. I also didn't want to date someone that was necessarily an artist, because I'm an artist, okay? But I do have a job that I do for a living, and it wasn't art. I wanted to have children with someone. I didn't want to be struggling and poor. I had already done that for 15 years, and having a baby, I knew was going to take a lot out of me, so I didn't want to have to work right away. I didn't want to be struggling through it. Judge me if you will, but I was looking for someone that could potentially have benefits, insurance benefits, and potentially like support us for a couple of 4 months, maybe while I had a baby. So yeah, so I did date guys younger than me because that's who were interested, and there were more of them, but I didn't end up marrying someone younger than me. But what I will say is one of the biggest things I liked about online dating, one of the biggest, aside from what I said before, is about energy and like being able to sort through people and the sheer numbers of people you would have a chance to see who are available without having to go to a bar, by the way, or other places where singles go. No, I never did that. I never found that to be helpful. So besides that, it was meeting people outside of outside of people that I would meet in person randomly. Like if you don't go to church, at the time I did not go to church, so I wouldn't meet people through church. I wasn't necessarily looking for someone that was Christian or church going at the time. And so I would have had a hard time meeting someone outside of my field of mental health. So for me to meet people that were a variety of people, I wasn't looking for people that had everything in common with me. I was looking for people who I had chemistry with, who I had some common values with. There are some common values I think transcend interests, like loyalty, dedication, perseverance, some of those kinds of values. Those are more important to me than having interests in common, because I'm pretty open-minded. I can go with a lot of different stuff. I could get interested in a lot of different things that are healthy. So for me, it wasn't about, oh, I need to find someone I can mountain bike with or something. It's like, I don't care. I can find other people to mountain bike with if that's what I really want. But for a partner, for a spouse, for someone I have children with, I want there to be some certain, baseline things, values, but I don't know. And also, even if we have the same values in those ways, that's intellectual to a certain extent. Chemistry is really important to me. I used to not think so when I was younger because I was trying to be more intellectual, but meeting someone on the first date, I could always tell if there was a potential or not for us to have a romantic relationship that was me, like on my end. They might have a different idea, but for me, I realized, I need to know, and I need to be honest with myself and also honest with them by the end of the date, actually, which was pretty uncomfortable and hard, challenging. But to say, I don't think that there's a potential. We could be friends, all that kind of thing, but I don't see any chemistry potential for me on my end. Can't really define that right now for you. I could, but I'm not going to right now. But so the potential for chemistry. Yeah, you can talk yourself into being in love with someone, and I can fall in love with people. I can talk myself into it or whatever through just being with them long enough. But real chemistry at the age of 34 that I had been divorced once, and I was looking for someone I had chemistry with, not someone that I just had a lot in common with that I would get to know long enough and then eventually fall in love with them and, become attracted to them. I wanted to have it from the beginning because I thought that was really something important about that, and I still do. So I think online dating is great, but at that time, because I was ready to meet someone in real life and get to know them in real life very soon. At the time, I would not talk with them too much online. I wouldn't do too much emailing back and forth. I wouldn't do too much instant messaging back and forth because I learned that there were people that I would get along with great for lots of instant messages back and forth. We could spend a few hours doing that. Then when I met them in person, there wasn't the chemistry on my end. That's what I found. So it was too disappointing for me to go on too long instant messaging with someone like that. I had to have a limit. I'm not going to instant message with this person for more than a day, however long within that day. And then I really do want to meet them in person before we go forward with me getting my hopes up that they might have like what I'm looking for, because I did meet a few people that I really thought were genuinely awesome people, guys, but I was sure from the beginning, and I did let them know, we don't have a future together romantically, but I would love to be friends with you. I wouldn't mind keep going on dates with you sometimes, but I want you to know that you're not the one, most likely, and you keep looking for someone, I'll keep looking for someone. If we want to hang out, we can, because I think you're a great person, and we get along, and we have things to talk about. So, honesty, super important when it comes to online dating. And any kind of dating, really, I think. But knowing whether or not this could develop, if this has the potential or not to develop into something serious in a chemistry kind of way, in a romantic kind of sexual way. I think that was really important. And it was hard for me to figure out, how am I going to tell them by the end of this date that there is no way that they should keep their hopes up for that. Especially because I learned a few times it was usually on my end that it was like a no, not on their end. Okay. I'm lucky in that way about the rejection aspect, but yeah, sometime, most of the time it was that way. They thought there was still a potential for that and on their end. So me telling them that there wasn't on my end was news to them. And me telling them something that was news to them was me alone telling them. And that was hard. I don't like to hurt people's feelings, and I don't like it when I'm the only one that is thinking something and then has to tell someone. It was hard for me, but I had to learn that that was often the case, and it was better to get it out in the open earlier than later, because more resentment would build up later. And also you get to test out this thing that you get to test out that you kind of need to when you're online dating or any kind of dating, but is the aspect of, I'm not going to say it's only to do with personality disorder, but it could be to do with personality disorder, which is that how do they deal with rejection of any kind, any way, shape, or form, like minute or larger or whatever of potential rejection. Because what I learned is that me just saying that, like, I don't see a chemistry, I don't see a future with us, between us, at the end of the date, at some point before the end of the date, if I said that, no matter how nicely I said it, if they responded to that very badly, that was a surprising, eye-opening experience. And those people may or may not have had personality disorders, but the sheer amount of energy, negativity that came towards me in text messages, even after that departure at the end of the date, was one way that I was able to weed through and be like, yeah, for sure now. For sure. No. I had a few experiences of that where I got text messages for the next like few hours or so, knowing that, okay, that was a good choice on my part, even if I did. Thank goodness I didn't. If they can handle any type of rejection, it was probably a bad sign. So, saying that we may not be meant for each other. I may not feel the connection or whatever. We're not a good fit, as they say, a good fit. If they couldn't deal with that at all well, in any like graceful way, without insulting me and like blaming me and abusing me mentally, verbally, then yeah, that was like a close call. Well, that's about online dating. That's what I have to say to you. So feel free to leave your comments below, questions about online dating. I feel like I am somewhat of an expert. The only kind of expert I could be with 1 year's worth of very serious online dating. Very serious. I will tell you I was very serious. Okay. But it was 7.5 years ago, so it was a while ago. So I have that limitation of my experience. But I do endorse online dating full-heartedly, and I do think that you should meet someone in person in a public place or whatever. If you are interested in them, you should do it sooner than later to test out whether there's chemistry or not, rather than building up your hopes. Because unless you meet them in person, you're never going to really fully know. I believe that very strongly. You will not know whether there's chemistry unless you meet them in person. I don't care how much you talk with them on instant message, or if you send pictures. I don't care how many pictures you see of the person, or even video. Okay, video, it might be a little bit of an exception there. I didn't do a lot of video chat with the people before, but distant relationships, long distance, if you haven't met them in person very much, it's hard because it does build a lot up in your imagination, and that's a risk. Your heart, you get a lot of expectations built up. So I would recommend against that if possible, because there's a lot of intensity that can happen from long distance relationships where you don't really get to check it out with the real person and spend time with them, except for in a very romantic way that you do when you like fly back and forth to each other. I mean, there's just so much romantic build up for that. So good luck everyone out there, and I hope you enjoy this video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I always enjoy it. All right, take care. Bye-bye.